Ladies and gentlemen, SideStrafe here with Star Wars The Old Republic, and today I am joined by Rurikhan. You can see he's sitting in my fancy briefing room today.
Hello, everyone, and today I'm here with SideStrafe. We are going to be talking about the free-to-play well, not really conversion, the new free-to-play option in SWTOR. I recently made a video about it, and after the model itself was implemented into the game, me and SideStrafe here were really surprised by the ridiculous amounts of limitations they have placed upon us.
We have a little bit of ranting to do, just a little bit. I mean, that's why we were on Skype and we said to each other, all right, I'm going to rant about this. He's like, me too. And we just decided to, collab and get it out there because we love MMOs. We've played a whole bunch and we love free-to-play games. We play all kinds of free-to-plays, whether it's an RPG, an MMO, or a shooter, whatever. We've been playing them for a long time, and I think we have enough experience under our belt to say what is a decent free-to-play mechanic or system and what is fair and in terms of being fair to the developer as well as to the consumer. And this one, I think, is crossing the line a little bit.
Yeah, just a little. So in order to kind of establish the new model, I just wanted to talk about the tiers of service. So when they added the free-to-play option, they came up with basically 3 tiers of service for each user. So there's the tier of service of the subscriber, which basically is the same thing you had at the launch of SWTOR. You get all the same features. Everything is pretty much the same, remains unchanged. Well, actually, I think they get more experience now because the free-to-players get the same experience you used to get, whereas the people who are subscribing now get experience faster than everyone else. And besides the subscriber tier of service, there's also the preferred status and a free-to-play status. The difference between these two is basically that the preferred status has a couple of more perks, which we will get into. But before we get into those perks, I wanted to talk about what do you need to do to get preferred status. So if you purchased the game previously to the game going free-to-play, you automatically get preferred status. And anyone that joins the game after that can get preferred status by making a $4.99 purchase at the cartel store. And my first thought when I heard about this is like, so the value they give to the purchase that I've made in December of 2011, which was about 70 something euros for digital deluxe, is $5. You spent even more. Why don't you tell us about that?
Yeah, one of my many regrets in gaming history. I'm a fan of collector's editions, and I tend to pick them up for games that I think I'm going to be into or passionate about, and I went ahead and spent a whole $150 on the Old Republic Collector's Edition, which actually wasn't even that great because, quite frankly, I wasn't all that interested in the statue that came with it, and there wasn't even an art book. So, all in all, it was kind of a waste of money, but you do get rewarded for purchasing that Collector's Edition in terms of extra cartel coins. But there seems to be a problem with that.
The problem with that is that you only get rewarded with those cartel coins if you actually resubscribe to the game. It's not just a question of coming back now that it's free to play and they will give you those coins. No, you have to actually resubscribe, and there's actually a limit. You have to resubscribe until, I believe it's the 20th of December of this year, because otherwise you lose all those coins, forget about it, you get nothing for resubscribing past that date, as far as I'm aware anyways. But the main thing to me was just, I was just astonished at the value of which our money basically degraded in the matter of 11 months, I believe. Yeah, it should be around 11 months. 74 euros became $5. In your case, $150 became $5. That's one hell of an inflation, I have to say.
Yeah, and originally I think everybody was under the assumption that if you had bought the game and you had spent some time in it, you go to the website, you see how much is coming to you, and I think in my case it was something like 1,900 cartel coins, and I thought, I didn't look into the fine print, but I thought that by just joining the game as a free-to-play, a player or gamer, that you would be granted those as like, hey, welcome back, it's free to play, here's some coins for the time that you did play. And on top of that, as we can see here, I have the cartel market open now. I actually have no cartel coins, 0. And so, that was a surprise to me. Maybe I didn't read into it thoroughly enough. But on top of that, I think you were supposed to be given at least 100 or 350 cartel coins just for playing the game, or perhaps even having, I guess you said, originally purchasing the game. I have nothing. So apparently there's some sort of bug or something where I have 0, because at least you even have 100, right?
Yeah, I got 100 cartel coins.
So I have, this is what you get for buying the collector's edition. You get a whole whopping 0 cartel coins, apparently. I'm sure I could contact support about that or something, maybe. Oh wait, or do I even get support? I don't think I do.
No, that's the thing. We're gonna see further ahead that you don't even get the contact support. You get to access the knowledge base, and that's it. That's what you get as a preferred status player. But like I was saying, the thing was that thing with the coins, they changed that page. I just noticed today they changed that page when the game went free to play, because before it went free to play, it said there that new players would get, I believe, 350 coins. It was 100 complimentary plus 250. Just for creating an account and playing the game, you would get 350 coins. I think that's what it was. And then it said for the people with the collector's edition, you were supposed to get 1,000 coins. You were supposed to get a special heroes banner. You were supposed to get a special party Jawa. All these kinds of goodies. It really seemed in the description, like, in big letters, it seemed this is exactly what's going to happen. You log back into the game and you're going to get all these rewards. And then I logged back into the game and I did not get anything of what it said there. All I got was 100 cartel coins. And then I went back to the page and I started trying to look through the fine print, because there is a fine print at the bottom of that page. And I'm not very good at reading legal terms, especially because it's in a foreign language to me, but it seems that you only get those items if you actually resubscribe. That's just the start of the rant. That right there was just like, oh, it's almost false advertising, in my opinion.
Yeah, I say this a lot, but definitely not a fan of that. I mean, it's just, we played this game mostly together, and I'm not max level. I'm only 48, and he is too, but we kind of just got burnt at the end where the storylines started to fall off, and we were just on a really boring planet, and it just was no longer entertaining, so we stopped playing. And but we did enjoy the game for a long time. We enjoyed the storytelling. It was a lot of fun, and I feel I did get a lot of my money's worth out of it. But we were really excited actually about it going free to play, and I thought this was a good move, as EA has never made one of their MMOs fully 100% free to play. They've done like 1 through 10 free in like Warhammer Online, but they never make it 100%. And I thought, you know what, this is a good direction. This will help the game out because there's a lot of potential here. But seeing these restrictions, I almost feel like this is Star Wars, jail simulator. I mean, welcome to Alcatraz, because you can't do much. Sure, you can level up 1 through 50, but in that case, my example to a friend of mine was like, well, I could just go play Skyrim or Dragon Age or Mass Effect or something. If my cost of the game is $60, in this case I paid $150, and okay, so you're saying I get my leveling experience out of that cost and nothing else. But we're gonna get into how there's some things that are missing that are just ludicrous.
Yeah. So starting up, I mean, you get the story content 1 through 50, and most people are probably going to look at this like I did, which is that was one of my favorite parts of the game, going through the story. But there's one big problem that sprung out to me as soon as I got back into the game, which was the limitation on quick bars. Because I wanted to play the game again. I was like, okay, I'm going to ignore all of these restrictions. I'm just going to do the story. And then I start getting into quick bars, and being like a former raider, like I really like to min-max my character, optimize my key bindings, all that stuff. And what I came to find is that with my class, which is a scoundrel, it's impossible for me to bind all the skills I need into 2 quick slots. It's impossible. I can either get my most essential skills and have no cooldowns, or I can get some cooldowns and not have all the skills I need. So you can play through the story, but you're not going to get the full enjoyment out of your character because you're not going to be able to map all the skills you really need to take full advantage of it. And that was just a big problem for me right there. What do you think about this quick slot limitation, which I just think it's one of the most ludicrous things. It's actually one of the breaking points for me because I wanted to get back into it, but the two quick slots only just broke it for me. I could not play like this.
That's a bag of silly. I mean, that's one of those things that's unnecessary. That's a game. That's a core game element. That's I've played so many free-to-play games, like removing a gameplay mechanic almost in a way. You're removing a UI element, the ability to put more of your abilities or things that you want to have shortcuts to, like your speeder perhaps on the side. I mean, that's just, what? I had to do a double take, when I read that. It just.
But wait, I've been looking through the cartel store, and you can look through now. You can look through
Right.
how you can actually get the quick bars if you look around for it a little bit. And
That's under what?
I'm not exactly sure. Let me
Let's
just
see.
check here real fast. I think it's in unlocks. Yeah, it's in unlocks. You have a whole bunch of stuff here. You can get the crew
Yeah,
member appearance and
unlock
whatnot.
additional quick bar, 250 cartel
Okay,
coins.
now notice this. Unlock additional quick bar. This will add a quick bar for that character.
You're kidding me. Wait.
No. You get one quick bar for one character.
So,
Then there's one that's account wide, but apparently I'm not exactly sure how that works because some people say it will only work for your legacy. Other people say it will only work for the characters you have already created. So if you create a new character, he will not have access to the third quick slot. I mean, there's a lot of rumors going on right now, and unfortunately, we can't verify everything because I'm not going to start buying.
well, I
cartel
mean,
stuff.
when you highlight over it, there's two icons on the right-hand side that says this item can be purchased for the current character, and this item can be purchased for all the characters on an account.
Yeah,
It's nothing.
supposedly all the existing characters on an account.
So if you make that
You
could
know
that
what
could
I
be
mean?
terrible.
I'm not sure if that's the way it works. It makes no sense, but I have read a couple of forum posts that said something about that. So I cannot confirm nor deny because I have no intention of spending anything in the cartel market
Now,
as is right now.
I also want to point out before we continue that I'm all for subscribers getting everything that they deserve. If you're paying money, you should get what you deserve. No problems there. But having played so many other free-to-play MMOs, usually it's number of character slots. Maybe it's unlocking a class or a race. Sometimes, yes, there is a cap on gold or currency, but usually it's higher end content. Maybe you don't get this, like in Lord of the Rings Online, which is actually still fairly popular in North America. As long as if you're subscribing, or they have actually 3 tiers: free, premium player, and VIP. As long as you're one of those, you get all the end level like DLC stuff or whatever. And then free to play might not have access to certain content and whatnot. That stuff I see as fine. But again, we're talking about a user interface slot here. Like to limit that, and then the other things that you're about to get into, just mind blowing.
Okay, so now let's get into character creation. This is also a very, very good one. When you create a character, now for starters, there's only two character slots available, and we've seen this in other MMOs like Dungeons and Dragons Online.
Yep.
Has the same thing. And they actually don't delete your characters. Like if you had more characters previously, they do not delete them, but they also don't let you create new characters. I was kind of hoping that this would be a limitation based on server, like 2 characters per server, but no, it's 2 characters across all servers. So I have 4 characters currently. I cannot create any character until I delete 3 of my characters, which was also something that I was planning on doing, which was just creating a new character, starting from scratch, playing around with the story. But in order to actually enjoy that, I have to delete a whole bunch of other characters. So that's one of the limitations. The other limitation is that when you do create a new character as a free-to-play or a preferred status. This is for both of us. Only subscribers get full character creation options. So preferred status players and free to players only get access to the species of human, Zabrak, and cyborg.
Yeah, that type of stuff I find more like I expected that one. I mean, that one that I see stuff like that in most of the free to play MMOs. Although I don't know if it's. I always use Lord of the Rings as a good example because of its popularity in NA, but I think with them they have some classes that are locked, but I don't know about races. So I'm sure other games maybe do racials, but I'm not sure.
Well, luckily we don't have at least as far as of now. I don't believe there's any restriction on classes so far. That can change. Then we go into chat and general stuff. And by the way, we're going to put a link in the description below because we took a lot of information from a website, Delphi.net, and one of its users actually posted a really good post that has all of these limitations. So if you want to read through this kind of stuff, there's going to be a link in the description. But I wanted to talk about general chat, trade chat, and PvP chat. You can post as a free-to-player as well as a preferred status player, I believe. One message every minute. The timer is shared. So if you type one message in general chat, you have to wait 1 minute before you can actually chat anywhere else.
What?
Oh, yeah.
I didn't know that.
I believe that if you are a preferred status player, you have full general chat functions, but not trade or PvP, it seems. But you also have access to a who list, which is the /who, lets you find players, whatnot. The free-to-players can just... They have restricted tells, and general chat can only be used in Origin worlds. Now, in a way, I understand why they want to do this, because they don't want to have people spamming chat. But I mean, I think there should be better ways to do that instead of just limiting someone. I mean, can you imagine a free-to-player coming to the game and like he types something in general chat, like asking for help or something, and then someone replies and he goes to reply back and it's like, no, wait, you got to wait a minute. You can't talk right now. You got to wait. You got to wait for your turn. I think it's a little bit abusive. There's better ways to filter spam, I feel. All the free-to-players as well as preferred status players, all the vendors have their credits and commendation prices increased by an additional 25%.
What?
Of this. Oh, yeah. You basically have to pay 25% for everything. Everything. And this means also commendations like, the types of marks that you get from planets and whatnot.
Mm-hmm.
The items cost 25% more marks than it costs to the people who subscribe. And I'm not against people who subscribe getting stuff. I mean, that's totally fair for them. I'm just against, so the free-to-players have to pay more, but they're more limited in the ways that they can actually get money and get these items as well. Because basically you have a lockdown on the types of marks. On planet commendations, you have a hard cap of 20 commendations per planet. So you remember those commendations that we were getting like on Balmora and
Yep.
Alderaan, all that type of stuff? You can only get 20 of those. I don't think those are even enough to buy most of the items, if I'm not mistaken. And also, you can't get more than 175 total commendations per day.
Okay.
So yeah, there's a severe limitation on that kind of stuff. I remember us getting these marks like by the buttload completely. Like if you just look at your marks now, tell me how your marks look, and you go to your inventory, and from the inventory go to currency. You should have marks for like Alderaan, Balmora, that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're probably overcapped on most of those, right?
Yes, indeed.
Yeah, so basically newer players are not going to be able to get as many marks as we currently have because they're just going to be limited at 20 per. Which, if I remember correctly, there's a lot of items that you're not going to be able to buy just because of that.
While we're looking at that, you might as well discuss the currency.
Oh yeah, the escrow. That's a funny one. That's a really good one. So once you get to a certain cap of gold, because everyone from the free to players as well as the preferred status players, you have a cap on how much credit you can actually get. So the preferred status players can get all the way up to 350,000, which is probably what you have right now, right?
350, yeah.
Yeah, 350,000, and then you have some leftover gold on your escrow account because this is a very banking friendly system. Escrow is some kind
Yeah.
of banking terminology that I'm not even familiar with, to be completely honest. But once you hit that cap, every credits that you pick up after that will go into your escrow account. Now, when you look at that, you'd think, okay, so that means that if I spend money, I can get money from the escrow account back until I reach the cap. No, it doesn't work like that. All the money that gets put into your escrow account will only ever be accessed if you subscribe. So if you go below the cap, it doesn't matter. You do not have access to your credit escrow balance. That money just stays there until you eventually subscribe, and then you can get that money. That to me makes absolutely no sense. And the limit is really, really ridiculous because it's 350,000 for preferred status players and 200,000 for free to play players. And let's just say I'm not a big gold farmer. As a matter of fact, I suck at that kind of stuff. And I had 1,000,000 credits. So if I had 1,000,000 credits and I suck at getting credits, I can only imagine how many more credits other players have, just so that you guys have an idea of the value of the currency. So 350,000 credits, I don't think it's almost anything, to be completely honest.
Yeah, I mean, I know some of the other free to plays. Like again, I was looking at the Lord of the Rings restrictions, and they do have a credit restriction on their free to play access. Which, again, theirs is different. I think they use a gold system, so it's I don't know how to measure it really in comparison, but this would not be the first time that something like this has been done. So I don't know if that's like a normal feature, but I haven't really seen it, or I haven't really seen it to be noticeable in other free-to-plays that I've at least tried. So I can't really speak on that one too much.
The one thing that really got to me though was that I was, like I told you, I was trying to play yesterday a little bit, and it's so demotivating when you're at the cap of the credits, and like I was looting some random chest that I found, and it's like, oh, you've just gotten 2,000 credits, but wait, you're at your credit cap, so that's going to go into your escrow account, and I'm like, so it's gone
Yeah.
forever. I'm never gonna see it unless I subscribe. It is so demotivating. It just brings you down. It's like they're shoving this whole subscribe thing constantly in your face and repeatedly on several aspects of the game. Like for instance, you have this whole escrow balance thing. I used to do these two professions when we were playing, which was slicing and treasure hunting. And the good thing about these professions is that they brought back these lock boxes, which would usually either contain like a gift for your companions, or an item, or a recipe, or something cool, or even sometimes it was just money, which was the reason why I had those particular professions. You would get money, you would get items. It was a pretty easy profession. So now, with the free to play as well as the preferred status player, you can't get the lock boxes from those professions. Only the subscribers can get those lock boxes. There's like an image that I saw online where basically it said only the subscribers can pick from the full range of reward of this particular profession or something like that. What do you think about that?
I mean, I remember how useful that was. I mean, at one point you were funding both of us for certain aspects. You even funded another friend of ours in terms of his crafting, and you were able to make a lot of money off of those trade skills. And I don't know. Again, that's one I can't really speak too much on. I'm not sure. I'm trying to figure out if there's some sort of game mechanic logic to it. If it's it's tough. Is it some sort of anti-farming mechanism for free? I don't know. It's again, like you said though, demotivating. It's like why should I do this? I feel like I'm not gonna get something
Exactly. It's the thing is that they say the game is now free to play, and you get into the game and you start seeing all of these limitations. It just demotivates you because I was really excited to getting back into this, and then I start seeing all this stuff. Like something else that happened while we're on the subject of crew skills, which is the whole thing about the crafting systems. While we're on the subject of crew skills, something else that happened is apparently there's also a limitation to the number of crew skills that you can have if you're a free to play player. You can also unlock those through the cartel. You can unlock different, not different. You can unlock more crew skills, also
Right.
on a per character basis. So you can unlock like 2 slots for crew skills for one of your characters, and then you have to buy again if you want to do it for another one. Um, so one of the things that really ticked me off yesterday is that preferred status players can only have 2 crew skills. But before, everyone was able to have 3. So obviously, I was leveling 3 of my crew skills, and I had all 3 of my crew skills maxed out to 400. So I go to collect a resource that was on the ground, and the game tells me, you can't collect this resource until you select 2 of your crew skills to become active. So I had to basically phase out one of my crew skills in order to be able to collect the resource that was sitting right in front of me. And then they also said, oh, you can also subscribe and you get access to the full 3 crew skills again. That's again, they're just putting it in your face like, look, you have to subscribe. You want to have access to all this stuff? Subscribe. So I ended up not collecting the resources because I was undecisive about which one should I drop. And then while I was thinking about that, I was like, I could as well just drop 2 of them because it's the 2 professions that give you the lock boxes that I can't get anymore.
It's yeah. I mean, it's a complex situation here, and I'm all for developers trying to make money on free to plays. They have to. I play World of Tanks, and I spent a lot of money on that game. I've spent well over the cost of just buying a $60 game on that one, but they don't remove. If you play the game for free, they don't take out an interface item or something that's something that's critical to the game. It's almost like saying, oh, want to use first person view mode? Subscribe. I mean, that's what it feels like to me. Like you're removing certain little things that they seem little, but they're actually, critical to your overall gameplay experience sometimes.
And enjoyment even because that was how I was playing this character. I was like, I'm running around, I'm gathering resources, I'm killing monsters, I have all my skills, I have all this stuff I can do. And you get back into the game as a free to play, and you're just so limited that you don't even feel like playing anymore. That's just one of the big problems. So let's talk about some other stuff that we have here. Let's see. Oh yeah, let's talk about character customization.
Oh, this is the one that really grinds my gears.
You can show them the menu right now. You
Yeah.
just have to go to your character screen and where is it? Oh yeah, it's customize appearance. And apparently, in order to hide your head slot or hide your helmet, which is a feature that's pretty much available in every single MMO in history. Well, probably not every single MMO. That's probably exaggerating it a little bit, but it's present on a lot of MMOs. And I don't ever remember a free-to-play MMO asking you to pay in order to hide your head slot.
That's just a bag of fail. That's the silliest thing. Like somebody sitting there thinking, I really need to hide my head slot. I'm paying. Like, no, I'm lucky because I'm a trooper and I'm probably going to want to keep my helmet on. So for me personally as a trooper, not as big a deal. But for somebody that's a smuggler such as yourself, who
I
might
like
be wanting
using
to
helmets, and sometimes I like taking them off.
you
It's
might be
just
wanting to pull a Han Solo, like, look, I want to look like this, suave, smuggler guy or whatever. And you might not, some of the helmets, let's face it, in this game are horrible. So you might not want to wear them. And that's just, that's such a, I can't even come up with a word. It's just terrible.
But wait, just notice this. This is just a tiny little checkbox in your UI. But if you go to unlock it through cartel coins, you're going to unlock it for that character. It costs like I think 350. I'm not sure how much it is. Let me actually
It's
go and check
350.
that.
It's
It's
350.
350. Okay, so it's 350 for that character, or you have also the account wide, which is probably double, like 700 or something,
Well,
to
see,
be
I
able to
don't
hide your helm.
show items. It doesn't say if you can buy them separately. I think you buy the one. I think those icons designate saying, hey, if you buy this item, it's going to be good for the character or all account. Whereas sometimes there might be an item that says this is only for one character and that icon will be missing. That's what I'm going to assume because I don't see a place that says choose one or the other. So I think it's 350 and you can do
No,
it on all of your current
no, no, no,
characters.
no, no,
Are
no.
you sure?
Just go to the place where it says customize appearance. You have the button right next to it. Click the button.
Which button?
Right next to where it says hide your head slot, to the right, there's a yellow button.
Okay.
Subscribers can toggle this. You click that button, look what you get. Purchase with cartel coins. Character and account. You see it?
Oh. It's funny because it's almost if you go to the cartel store and do it, like if you go to the store and you click on it, it just says buy now, which might open the web browser or whatever. I'm not sure. See,
But
it has
if you
a.
go through your character, there's a pretty explicit screen that tells you, look, you want this
So
for
I
the
guess
full
all right.
account?
So yeah. So you're buying it for your one character. That's even more garbage.
So it costs now 350 at the rate of conversion. The rate of conversion is almost, I believe, a rough approximation is 100 cartel coins is $1.1, roughly. So it costs you $3.5 to be able to hide your helmet. But wait, then there's the unify colors thing, which
This
if you
one.
remember,
This
it was
is
a
the one for
feature.
me. This is the one that really.
This was a feature that they took out when we started playing the game, and you were always complaining about it. You were always like, "Man, I wish they put back Unify Colors."
It was the greatest feature ever in an MMO because, especially as a trooper in this game, you would end up with mixed-matched clown armor. You would have red, blue, green, yellow, and you would look like a fool, and it was nearly impossible to match. Now, right now, my guy is mostly in blue and white because I've actually crafted, or actually I think some of this is the first level PvP stuff or whatever. I managed to find all blue, and that's why I match. But I do not have, by default, the Unify color option, which, again, I don't know why they removed it. They made up some weird convoluted excuse as to why. Then they finally brought it back, and I was happy, but I was kind of done playing by then. But now you have to buy it, and so I'm guessing it's going to be the same issue per character and
Yep,
for the entire account.
exact same thing.
Again,
Again,
just
$3.50, and you can unify the colors for your trooper.
I mean, like if I got serious about this game and I wanted to, I would pay for that because I am very much into cosmetics in terms of games. I like my character looking cool and matching. They would get my money on that no matter what. If I was that into the game, I don't necessarily think I will be, but stupid. Like almost like an award-winning feature because that has been a problem that MMOs have faced that issue for years. There are obviously newer games like Guild Wars that address it as well, but that's a game where you buy the game and there you go. That's yours for free. But yeah, that one really gets me.
I almost feel like the guy from Price is Right because right now I'm going to say, but wait,
there's more.
So the next thing is, while we're on the subject of character customization, preferred status players as well as free-to-players cannot display titles. Now, I know that you personally didn't care that much about this, but when you were a trooper, you actually paid some attention to this. Am I right?
I had my rank ones, like lieutenant and whatnot.
Exactly. You used to be like Lieutenant Bauer. Well,
Yeah.
right now you're just Bauer. You have no title. You can't have a title unless you buy it. That's another unlock that you can buy. I'm not sure if it's 350 or something else.
Apparently that's 100.
Oh, that's cheaper. Okay.
I don't know what it is for account bound, but for single character it's 100.
For account bound, it's 200. But wait, there's more. There was also the Legacy display title. You also have to pay for that. Same thing. 100 for your one character, 200 for your account. And I think that's about it when it comes to character customization, unless we want to mention the fact that you need a license in order to equip certain items in the game now. Like, I believe there's now event items, which I don't think were present at the time that we were playing, like items for Halloween, items for Christmas, that kind of stuff. I'm not exactly sure if that's what it refers to. They talk about event items, and that's pretty much what comes to my head.
Right.
But you require a license in order to be able to equip those items. Not only those, but you also require a license to be able to equip items like epics and artifact. What's it called? Artifact quality gear. I believe that's rating gear and heroics gear, something like that. You require a special license in order to be able to use those items. That I also have to say I feel is a little bit excessive. I mean, come on. How many more limitations can you seriously impose on this? Also, another feature, while we're on the topic of character customization, you remember that we used to be able to change the aspect of our companions, like change their face?
Yes.
Can't do that anymore either. You need a special license for that, or you need to buy character customizations. I don't know. Once again, it is another pay to get feature, which was just, I mean, customizing your companion is not such a big deal. But then again, I'm not really going to stress too much over that, because I think that the thing about free to plays should be is cosmetic items and convenience items. So sure, you guys can take the whole companion customization away. That's fine. That I don't think that's a little bit exaggerated, but hide your helmet. I mean, hide your helmet is just, it's too much. It's just a little bit too much. I don't think that I had anything else regarding character customizations. We've addressed crew skills, where the preferred status players get 2 crew skills, the free-to-play players only get 1 crew skill, and the subscribers get, obviously, the full 3 skills.
What else is...
Oh, wait. Regarding character, I can't believe... It's exactly like I'm telling you. But wait, there is more. A lot of emotes are locked. Do you have access to the emote menu?
This
I
is
don't
sad.
even know how to access the emote menu.
I don't even remember.
To be honest.
It's been so, like, I just launched this game yesterday, and I've forgotten pretty much everything. I thought it was in the chat. Yeah, emotion. Yeah, so I have it pulled up right now. If you go to the chat, the top left, there's a little...
And where do you click?
There's an icon of a guy.
Oh, here it is, emotion. Oh, wow.
And it's got the little stamps there, like, oh, you can be... You can accuse, you can be bored, you can confront. So it's like we can accuse...
I can't say goodbye to you. I can only say hello.
It's like we can accuse EA. We can be bored of this game. We can confront them about these horrible restrictions. We can frown at them, also glare at them. Oh, we've got love. I don't think that one's going to work. We could try to seduce them into bringing back the features. Smiling will only happen if you subscribe, apparently. And we can whine, which we're doing right now, and be wicked and wink about it, perhaps. But
the one thing that I am noticing here on a general thing is that you can usually wave, but you can't say farewell.
Did it even?
You can say hello. Can you say hello? You can't even say hello.
I don't even know if these are. Oh, these are emotions. These are how your face looks, I think, right?
Yeah. Then there's general, which is stuff that you can do. Like, what's this? Be right back. What? This is just text?
Yeah, there's some of that stuff. Like, yeah, you get basic ones, but they've locked out some of the other ones, whatever. So, yeah, the emotions, I think those were a new feature where it just looks, it's how your face looks, so whatever. But,
I guess I'll have to do the hide my helmet the old style, which is just take it off. There, I have my feature now.
Yeah.
I took away my helmet. Okay, let's talk a little bit more regarding the restrictions on, let's talk about PvP, flashpoints, and operations. So operations, which is the SWTOR equivalent of World of Warcraft raids, you just can't do them unless you buy a weekly pass. So if you're a free-to-play player, you just can't do operations. Actually, I'm not too bothered with that because I have no intentions of doing operations anyways. But I do believe that them selling a weekly pass is a little bit excessive because one of the hardest thing about operations as well as raids and all those kinds of events is actually forming up a group because usually it's like someone gets sick or someone can't show up and the group is gone. So imagine that you purchase your operations weekly pass and your group never happens. Well, it's gone. Too bad. Didn't use it? Too bad. I think that a weekly pass, a little bit excessive. They should maybe sell monthly passes. I think that would be a little bit better, but again, I'm not sure about pricing or whatever. I just think that weekly is a little bit too low for a raid or an operation, which is something that might not even happen.
Yeah.
So you can't do operations unless you buy a weekly pass. Then regarding flashpoints, this one really scarred me because I was planning on doing some flashpoints as well because it's something that I really enjoy doing is going to instances, especially now that they've finally added a group finder, which wasn't available when you and I were playing.
Right.
I wanted to just go and knock some instances out of the park as well as do some of the story and all that stuff. And basically what happens with flashpoints is that what they say in the feature is you get 3 weekly rewards from flashpoints, which is not very clear. Let me actually give you the exact text. Full rewards from 3 flashpoints per week, or purchase a weekly pass to unlock rewards for all champions. So, what they mean by this full rewards from 3 flashpoints, according to the website that we were looking at, because they tested all this stuff out, is you get 3 loot rolls for flashpoints per week. Loot rolls that you may not even win. You get 3 of those.
Fantastic.
That's it. And it's like 3 loot rolls is not even enough for 1 flashpoint because most flashpoints have more than 3 bosses. Or a random item might drop that you might need. So, I mean, just take it. Average 4 bosses at least each instance plus whatever random item that might drop. 3 loot rolls is probably not going to be enough for 1 instance, let alone 2, 3, or 4. But they don't limit the amount of times you can run them. You're just not going to get any loot for them unless your party is extremely generous.
Yeah.
Actually, no. Most of those were buying on pickup, so even if your party is generous, it doesn't really matter. They're not going to be able to give you the items. That is extremely excessive. And then regarding the war zones, you get to do 5 war zones a week, which was supposed to be 3, but they instead changed it to 5. I'm just not 100% sure if that is for both preferred status and free-to-players, or if it's just for... Yeah, it's the same. So both preferred status and free-to-players get 5 war zones a week. But you have to remember, with your limit of 5 war zones a week, this probably means that you're going to be gaining less valor points, I believe, is what you get from PvP, whatever. You're going to be getting less of the PvP points that you get than normal subscribers. And then just remember that all the items that you're going to go to buy at the PvP store cost you 25% more than to the subscribers. So basically, you can't play as much as the subscribers. And on top of that, the items are going to be more expensive. So it probably is going to take a while before you can actually get a PvP item.
Well, I might be a little bit more disappointed with that if I actually thought the PvP in this game was good, but it's for me that wouldn't have necessarily been an issue because I think it's terrible, especially considering the fact that they had Dark Age of Camelot and Warhammer Online to take ideas from, since EA owns both of those, and they didn't, but that's a whole other rant. Anyway, moving right along. It's still, for those that did enjoy the PvP, could be problematic. And again, you know, as we're talking about this stuff, I do want EA to make their money. I want those developers that sit in cubicles hours on end, you know, busting their butts on this game to make their money, to earn their paychecks, and I'm totally for it, but frack me, these things are just out of this world. I mean, this is just some of the
Like,
stuff. I mean, usually, like I said, there's a lot of free to play MMOs out there where the higher end content is limited. The certain areas or zones might be limited, and that's fine. You got to figure out where to, get some money. But more so, I have the issue with things that weren't written on the webpage. I mean, we knew about those things. I think the issue is more so the little things like missing user interface, can't hide your helmet, can't unify colors, that they didn't even list. We had to go to a website to find out a true list. Those are mostly my issues, because if it was just the things that they had on their site, I don't know if they've changed it, but those things, okay, I was all right with it. But now it's just these little things that add up to just one giant cluster.
one giant cluster indeed. Some other things that happen that don't really affect you and me, fortunately, because we get preferred status because we actually bought the game, but is the fact that free-to-play players don't have access to a cargo hold. They don't have access to guild banks. They also, I believe, they cannot expand their inventory through credits. This particular one is not confirmed. Actually, I can just do it right now. Yeah, I can't expand my inventory. Oh, no, yep. I can't purchase it with credits, you see? You see it on your inventory,
yeah, there's
there's
a little
the little
icon
item there. You click there and it says, okay, you can use it with an inventory module. You can purchase with cartel coins for your whole account, or you would be able to purchase with credits if you were a subscriber.
I wonder about, like, what if somebody had expanded their inventory before the free-to-play? Like, if they expanded it as much as they possibly could.
We did. We expanded it at least once, so...
But, like, let's say somebody maxed theirs out. I don't even see that...
It.
Okay, that'd be interesting.
Because at that point in time, you were a subscriber.
Yeah, because I don't remember what mine looked like. I don't remember how...
How many slots do you have currently?
Well, I've got the 4 lines.
So
40.
slots.
I have 40 capacity.
Yeah, me too. I think we start with 20, and both you and me, we both upgraded once, and it seemed to be enough, so we never did it again. Looking back now, considering that I have about 700,000 gold in an escrow account that I can't really access, I wish I would have expanded the crap out of it. And another thing that free-to-players and preferred status players do not have access to is rested XP. We do not have rested XP, and also we level slower than subscribers. However, on this one, I'm not particularly against it, because it is, as we've discussed previously, it is one of those things that when you develop a free-to-play game, what you really should develop is convenience. That's what you need to charge for. You need to charge for convenience as well as cosmetic stuff. That kind of stuff I am okay with. I'm not necessarily against subscribers leveling faster than you, because again, it's just a convenience item, and that tends to happen in most free-to-play models. Like in League of Legends, for instance, if you want to get a specific champion, you can either grind the necessary matches to get the in-game points to buy that champion, or you can just invest some money into it and get that champion faster. That's what the pay in free-to-play models should be. I mean, the microtransactions should be about. It should be about the cosmetic as well as convenience things, in my opinion.
I agree 100%. I mean, I have no issue with that at all, and that's how most games work. I always talk about World of Tanks because that's the one major free-to-play that I play on a regular basis. And if you pay $14.99 a month, basically, you will get 50% more credits and experience, which means you will level up through the tanks a lot faster and earn more credits that will help you buy those tanks and whatnot. So, same thing. I think that I don't mind not getting the rested XP bonuses. I think that, like we keep saying convenience, and that's what you should be paying for, just to make your leveling or grind a little bit more comfortable. Going through it. And I think that works for all kinds of games. I mean, that's how most games work, whether it's a shooter or an RPG. Blacklight Retribution's another example where they do the same type of thing. and it works fine, and I'm totally okay with it. I mean, again, if I love the game, I will definitely support it, and I think a lot of people feel the same way. Cosmetic items too, I agree with you on that. Getting something that's going to make me look cool. I mean, I've spent money on mounts in other free-to-play MMOs, or even in Terra Online, I bought I want to say $25 mount because it looked amazing. If you design something that looks phenomenal, I will gladly pay for it, even though I could just get a normal mount in-game. You know, if it looks really cool and sets me apart, I have no issue. Do things like that. That's what the artists are there for, to make you extra money with cool-looking stuff.
I think that regarding aesthetics, there was actually only one item I've ever bought in the free to play market, which was for League of Legends, a specific skin for a champion that I really enjoy. I actually bought a skin, which is again, it's like I'm telling you, it's the kind of stuff that the players will actually get invested if they play your game and have a good time, instead of feeling constantly constricted by all these limitations. Like, for instance, when I play League of Legends, I have a good time, and I don't feel that whether or not that I should be forced to pay for the game or not. But I ended up spending some money on it to get some champions that I wanted. Ended up buying that one skin. It's just that to me is an example of a great free-to-play model, and the numbers speak for themselves. Over 30 million players around the world playing that game. I mean, if we're talking about numbers here, like I said, the numbers speak for themselves. Another convenience thing that subscribers are going to get that we do not get is the access to the emergency fleet pass. If you remember that, it was an item that had, not an item, a skill that had a 24-hour cooldown, instantly teleported you to your respective fleet. And quick travel, which is basically a teleport system. I didn't even reminded myself of this when I was making a video previously about this stuff, what quick travel actually was, but it's basically a skill that you can teleport to these points that you unlock in the map. If you remember those points that we would unlock when we got to a certain area, you can teleport to those. If I'm not mistaken, the cooldown on that thing used to be like 15 minutes, which probably still is for subscribers. Preferred status players as well as free to play players get 2-hour cooldown on that. It's I mean it's harsh, but once again, that's one of those convenience things. So I don't think it's such a huge deal, in my opinion.
Yeah, I mean that's one I could let them have. It's not, I mean, it's a part of the game, but it's not something like a UI element, you know, that I can, you know, there again, it's about what you can forgive and what you can't. What just seems silly, like I just keep sitting here and thinking, who is sitting at a desk? Who's this guy? What's his name? What is his demeanor? Like, what was he smoking when he thought that some of these things were good ideas? Like, they just
Let's talk about the quick bars. The quick bars is the one thing that just totally totally turned me off, because, like I said, I'm a min-maxer, and anyone who's a min-maxer will want to have his skills ready to be used for every possible situation. And it's like, as a min-maxer, I cannot have the skills that I need with 2 quick slot bars. It just can't be done. Like, I'm looking at my bar and I'm like, I don't have my dodge skill, which is a cooldown that allows me to survive when we're getting our asses kicked. I don't have my smuggle skill, which is the skill that allows me to put my whole party invisible. I don't have those cooldown skills because I don't have enough room in the bars. See, that is one of the problems right there. That's the kind of stuff that they really shouldn't take away. Another convenience thing that, once again, subscribers can do freely and we cannot is the field revives. We have a limit of 5 field revives. But then again, this is not such a big deal, because if I'm not mistaken, by the time you get to 5 field revives, which is when you die and you ask the little probe to come and resurrect you in the spot, if I'm not mistaken, by the time you get to 5, you're going to be waiting 5 minutes or something to get resurrected. So I don't think that's a pretty big deal, to be completely honest. But you see, that's the thing. Some of these things seem completely reasonable. Like, sure, subscribers get more XP. Only 5 field revives. 2-hour quick travel. These are reasonable things. And then you mix these in with this, you only get 2 quick slots, and it just becomes ridiculous. Like, what the hell are you talking about? You know, I just don't get that point. Something else that I neglected to mention earlier when we were talking about the limits on operations, flashpoints, and whatnot was the space missions, which I believe you did not care so much for space missions. Me personally, I loved space missions, but as a preferred status player or a free to play player, you only get 3 of these missions per week. I don't
It's
think you're
funny.
too bothered by
We were
that.
telling this to one of our other friends recently, and we were telling him about the game, how it's going free to play, this and that, but there's some restrictions, and he was like, whatever, until we got to this point, because apparently I mean, I know you love the space missions, but he was just loving them. I think tenfold, and he was like, oh wait a minute, I'm not playing like. Like that's
Yeah.
it. I'm done. I'm out. There's no what? Because I don't know why, but I guess he was like me. I really don't care about them. I mean, maybe if they
I
were
mean,
free flight, I know a lot of people love them, but yeah, he was done after that.
that's one of the things. It's like I could let this one slide, even though I really like it. It's like it's not one of those major things for me, even though I really really like them because there were several sessions that I probably spent like at least 1 hour straight just doing space missions. Because again, I told you I love them, and I love the way that my ship looks because it looks kind of like the Millennium Falcon. So it's always cool running around with that ship, shooting stuff, whatever. But it was actually really funny because it was like we were talking about all this other stuff like, oh, you get no rested XP, you can't do this, you can't do that. Then we get to the space missions like, oh, psst, I'm out.
Yeah.
No space missions, I'm out. Forget about it. So yeah, it was actually a little bit surprising. Something else that there's a limit on, and this I can totally understand why there's a limit on this, which is the Galactic Trade Network. This has a different limit considering whether you're a preferred status or a free-to-play player. Let me just check here the exact numbers, which are, if I can find it, Galactic Trade Network. So subscribers can post up to 50 items in the Galactic Trade Network, which is basically like an auction house. Subscribers can put up to 50 items in there. Preferred status players can only put 5 items in the Galactic Trade Network. I think that for preferred status, 5 items feels a little bit short. And free to players only get 2 items. This is obviously made to prevent exploitation from gold farmers and whatnot to just come in and just farm the crap out of everything and then sell the crap out of everything on the auction house and just destroy the economy. At least that's what I think is the idea behind this. I don't think you care too much about this either, do you? Galactic Trade Network.
No, I mean that's acceptable.
Yeah, it's mostly. I believe that those restrictions are mostly just to prevent people from abusing the system. And I believe we've tackled most of the relevant things. I mean, there's a couple of more things here, but I
Yeah.
didn't really pay much attention. Like, for
Yeah, we hit
instance,
on the critical ones.
yeah,
Um,
there's something here that kind of confused me too, which is the cartel coin item lock, which is free to play players cannot sell items they buy from the cartel to other players for 3 days, I believe, and only 2 days if you're a subscriber.
hmm.
It's, I don't know, not a big deal, that one, I guess.
Yeah.
But yeah,
I think, to sum things up, obviously this has been a long video or kind of just discussion in general, but we really wanted to hit on some of these points for those of you who are trying to make an informed decision on whether to subscribe or not, because their main website is not clear. And also thanks to this website that, again, will be in the link in the description below, you can see and recap what is going to be available to you. Obviously, you can by just trying the game for free, you'll see, these restrictions. But I kind of want to get to just overall opinions, like, is this still a good game? And I'm going to be unbiased about this. But before we get into that, do you have anything to say before we get
well,
into just overall opinions?
yeah. The thing is that I actually made a video prior to this one on my channel, and where I was basically telling people that they should come and check out SWTOR now that it was free to play, that they should come and check out the game. And in a way, I almost really also told real life friends of mine, like, look, dude, you got to check it out because it's cool. You got the story, you got all this stuff. And to be completely honest, right now, I would not advise people to come for the free to play because simply I feel that they will actually get a bad image of the game, because the game constantly shoves it in people's faces. It's almost like there's this big advertising banner all the time, like subscribe now, blinking all over the UI, spread all over the place. You know?
Yeah. I mean, I would say, again, trying to be very unbiased and not just some sort of whiny ranter or whatever. Look, if you love Star Wars, if you love the Old Republic, if you like that BioWare type of game with dialogue and questing and that type of gameplay, then you could pick this game up as free to play, because you don't have to buy it to play it free. You can just download it, and there is hours upon hours of content, you know, between all the classes and characters that you could possibly have. You know, you make a trooper and you're going to have so many hours of story. Now, is it all good? You know, that's yet to be determined. I felt like, personally, it seems like some of the stories for the classes start out pretty great, and then they just slow down and become pretty bad towards the end. But, you know, that's only from my one experience. I think that if you have this game for free, you're going to get a lot of enjoyment out of it. But then when it's time to toss it aside, oh well, what did you spend on it? Maybe you want to spend a couple bucks here and there, which, you know, again, some of the stuff isn't expensive. If you spend money on a fast food or any type of meal, or fill up your tank of gas, whatever, you're going to be able to afford, you know, buying a couple items of convenience in the game. However, as a long-term solution, if you're really that into it, you're probably going to want to subscribe. I mean, if I enjoyed this that much, then yeah, it's just like World of Tanks. Do I have to? No, but I like paying for premium time because that's the way I enjoy the game. So I have nothing against the people that want to subscribe to this. More power to you. You're going to enjoy the game for what's there. Then when you're tired of it, you stop. I still think that this is a quality game. I still think that there's a lot of great stuff here. There is some original stuff. There's a lot of stuff that's obviously just taken from other titles, but I'm gonna I mean, it seems like you're saying don't try it, but I'm gonna say more so try it, because what do you have to lose other than time?
It's like my main problem that I have with it is the min-maxer in me, which is like this. They say you can play the game all the way from level 1 to 50, and that's right. You can do that. My problem is that once you get to a certain level, and you will notice when you get to that particular level, you'll notice that the 2 quick slot bars are really going to be, it's just going to almost destroy your experience. And that's what happened to me today when I was trying to play. It's like, I can't fit everything into 2 bars. And I was even considering, man, if I ever do get back into the game, I'll want to subscribe. I mean, it's like, you can try the game out. Sure, the first few levels, you're not going to have any problems. But just be aware that when you actually get to, I'm not exactly sure.
Okay, but what's the price of those bars?
Per character? I think it's $3.50.
Okay, so
Per bar.
Okay, let's say if you're that into the game and you think that one component, I don't think, okay, I hate that it's like this. I hate it. And I demand that EA actually change this. This is because it's ridiculous. But I'm going to say to somebody who's, you know, $3.50 is absolutely nothing, you know, if you're going to be that into it. It's just that if it was more than that, like if it starts becoming like, well, you know, now I need to unlock all these things, you really need to do the math on it and figure out, do I need to be a subscriber because this is stupid? Or, you know, a lot of people want to play free-to-plays because they're, you know, some people are cheap about it. They don't want to pay a monthly fee. They think that, I don't think monthly fees are ridiculous. I just think I want my value. And I don't feel like that a traditional BioWare game with the story that you normally pay $60 for, like Mass Effect, Dragon Age, or even a Skyrim game, you buy that game, you get to experience the story, you've paid your dues, that's it. Whereas this, it's kind of the same thing. It's like, where is your money's worth? Maybe you can pay for 2 months, and then you're going to get 2 or 3 months, and maybe you're going to get that Skyrim or whatever BioWare game experience. So do the math on it and think what it's worth to you. However, again, some of these things are flat out stupid in comparison to other free-to-plays, especially when there's so many of them out there. I mean, look at Perfect World Entertainment. They do nothing but make free-to-play games and MMOs. and they have none of these silly restrictions. They have a lot of there are restrictions,
They have their own restrictions, their own set of restrictions, but they don't have the kind of stuff
but they're
like
nowhere near as bad as this from what I've experienced, at least.
yeah.
Usually, again, it's more so the convenience stuff. You want to level up faster? Give us some coin. Or the cosmetic stuff, of course. I mean, of course, that's going to cost. I mean, or extra DLCs or whatever. I mean, but
It's just to me it's just complicated because my opinion has changed so much within these past 2 days. Because up to the release of this, I was like totally completely ecstatic. Like it's gonna free to play. I already know there's gonna be these limitations, but it's gonna be fine. We're gonna manage. I'm gonna be able to do this and like that and the other. I was making plans, man. I was like, I'm gonna do this way, and then it's like when I actually got into the game and saw what they did with these restrictions, I just felt like it's too much. It's a little bit too much what they did with it, and that's just the thing, which is one of the reasons why I wanted to make this rant, because we're not ranting just for ranting. We're ranting because we're suggesting stuff that needs to be improved. Like you can't just hold back UI features. I mean, I don't think there's ever been a game who did that.
no, I've never seen one. Again, it's just the basic gameplay elements you should never remove. Access to certain things, fine, but I guess that's all. Again, I don't know. I don't know what else to say. It's EA is EA. They are pretty stubborn about things. I don't know whose decision this was. I don't know if it's just BioWare Austin saying, "Well, let's do this. This will be a good idea." I have no idea. I mean, I don't think that they'll change anything anytime soon, because if you do that, it's a sign of weakness or that you've made a mistake. And I don't think that they want to admit to that, although Star Wars going free to play in general already shows that there was a problem. So, I mean, ideally EA wouldn't have pushed them to release, and the game probably should have came out this Christmas. I mean, that's my thought. It could have used that much more time. And I'm sure the developers would have loved to have even more time.
Let's just look at it this way. We've seen a lot of stuff that has improved since the time that we were actually subscribed to this game. Even little things, like for instance, the simple fact that our special mount that we got, because I bought digital deluxe and you got collector's edition, we had this one mount that you get, and that mount would only support your first tier of riding. And to me, that was a problem because I did not really like any of the other mounts that were available on other tiers. So to me, I would have used that mount all the way. But at the time, we couldn't because the mount was limited. That has been improved. Now that mount will automatically adapt to whatever level of riding you happen to have. That's a small little detail. Something big that I wanted to change since the start of this game was a group finder. That's also available now. If that had been available earlier, I might have not even unsubscribed because I would probably be having a lot of fun.
Again, it's an unfinished game. They needed to make money. They've spent, what is it, millions, billions? I don't know how many millions of dollars were put on this game over 4+ years of development. I mean, it was an expensive game. There's thousands of hours of voice dialogue. They had to pay all those actors and yada yada. It's okay, sure, awesome. It was I had a lot of fun. I think I did get my money's worth originally. However, it comes to a point where it ends because it's too much like a single player storyline, just with thousands of people also playing it that you can kind of share it with. So it's different, and it did launch missing major key features that are even in free-to-play games that have been for a long time now. And again, I just like Battlefield was released early. This is released early. Warhammer Online was released early. That's Granddaddy EA pulling those strings. I mean, I'm sure the developers didn't want to do it, but what can you do? They want to hit these deadlines. They want to beat their competition, and so we got this, and then you end up with, oh, now it's time to go free to play. But free to play has saved a lot of titles. It's saved Lord of the Rings Online. It's saved Dungeons and Dragons Online, which are both created by Turbine. A lot of, EverQuest 2 is now free to play. I mean, a lot of big old timer developers went free to play, and they're loving it. In North America, they're not doing so bad, at least in terms of the Turbine games. I know I can speak for them, but Again, I mean, I think that covers most everything we had to say. Do you have any final thoughts on that?
The final thought to me is basically if you're really into if you feel that you would have fun with SWTOR, try it out. And once you get to a level where you feel that you've reached a certain limit that you can't play as well because you're missing certain key elements of the game and you feel you need to go to the cartel, at that point I would really urge you to think about, do you want to be spending money on the cartel or do you want to just subscribe? Because I've done the math to several of the stuff that I would like to see. Like, I want to see my friggin' 700,000 credits back, and the only way to do that is to subscribe. I want to be able to get the lock boxes from my crew skills. The only way to do that is subscribe. So several things are still subscriber only. So it's like, if you're really into the game, I feel that you really shouldn't just stick to free to play. Free to play is like an extended demo. Think of it like that, an extended demo, because eventually it will come a time where you just can't complete the game properly with the elements they give you in free to play.
That's pretty much the truth right there. So to me, it was one of those things where I played enough. I got bored at level 48 because I hated the planet I was on. The game was no longer worth a monthly fee to me. Maybe I can come back, finish my storyline, and then maybe I'll be done. Do I need my quick slot bars? I don't know. I probably will start hating that part. But yeah, just measure how much enjoyment you can get out of it for free and then carry on from there. But it was not worth the monthly fee, and I do not see myself I will not resubscribe at this point in time because I'm just not that interested in what the game has to offer. And I typically like to keep any type of MMO maybe to one thing a month. So right now my focus is a game like World of Tanks. They get my money until I get bored of that, and then maybe I'll switch out. I don't like paying. I'm not the kind of guy that pays for 2 MMOs at a time. I've done it before, and it's just I got other bills to pay, so it's something I try to avoid. So this one, just try it. Nothing to lose but time, and make your own informed decision. We're just here to kind of go obviously in depth, as this video is insanely long. It's more so like a podcast in a way. It was just with some visuals, so hopefully you've been able to enjoy it. How's that? Anything else?
Nope, that's pretty much it.
That is it. So, ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for joining us. Please check out Rui's channel in the description below. Have a look-see. Got a lot of good stuff over there. Go ahead and subscribe. And I think we'll both see you on the next one.
See ya.